Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Southwest.
Colby Lewis is a constant example of defying the odds. His well-documented surgery and comeback are rarely mentioned these days. That's because he gives the Rangers innings and a chance to win every game he starts. Tonight, it would seem the odds are against him again, as the homer-happy Blue Jays hope to tee off. But being the underdog is probably just the way Colby likes it. Your Rangers and the Toronto Blue Jays meet next on Fox Sports Southwest. Texas Rangers baseball is presented by AT&T High-Speed Internet. Well, a glorious night here at Globe Life Park. The Rangers, after being treated like dogs last night, looking for a little redemption here in Bark at the Park evening at Globe Life. Tonight they take on the Blue Jays in Game 2 of this three-game set. And welcome in, everyone, along with Tom Greaves, Steve Busby. Delighted you could join us for the Saturday night of Ranger baseball. A packed house on hand here tonight, and they hope to see a dandy as Colby Lewis takes the hill, and he has been good lately.
He's been good lately. He was really good last year. He had a career year last year. He won 17 games. He pitched over 200 innings. He's probably pitching better now after 7 games than he was last year. He's completely healthy. His knee is fine. He feels great, and it looks it when you watch him pitch. He's gone 7 innings in his last 3 starts, an ERA of 2.67 in his last 4 starts. He's only won one of those games, but he's pitched well enough this year in 7 starts to have won 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, that he has. He's come out of the ball game, as a matter of fact, in those 6 starts 4 times with a lead, and Rangers just could not close it out. So hopefully tonight that'll be different. Rangers need to get back on the winning side of things, especially against this tough Toronto ball club. Well, the Dogs are out tonight, and the Rangers hope to have their offense howling. They'll take on the Blue Jays. We have the starting lineup and the first pitch right after this. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today for incredible deals and see why Ford is the best in Texas. By AT&T high-speed internet. Get a deal worth talking about. Get high-speed internet from AT&T. And by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Well, a great night out here at the ballpark. A gentle breeze blowing out toward right field. It's Bark in the Park night. A lot of happy canine faces in attendance here in this sold-out Globe Life Park. Before we get things underway, let's sit down and check in with Emily Jones.
Well, Buzz, if he said it once, he said it 1,000 times. Colby Lewis' objectives going into a game are to go deep into that game, keep his team in the game, and when he leaves the ball game, be within striking distance. And that's exactly what he's done so far this season, as you guys alluded to in the open. And he seems relatively unfazed about facing this Toronto lineup so soon after doing it the first time this season.
I don't know if it's an advantage or disadvantage or whatever. I mean, I feel like you guys always ask me that question, even like in the first of the year. You know, I had to face Seattle in back-to-back starts, so I don't see it being a problem. You know, you kind of read hitters and you make the adjustments on the fly.
And Colby Lewis, guys, as you mentioned, after last season's successful campaign, he also has been off to an incredible start this season. 7 consecutive starts, going 6 or more innings. In the last 3, he's gone at least 7. Hopefully a streak that will continue here tonight, guys.
Yeah, good stuff, Em. Yeah, that's exactly right. Colby has been the model of consistency and needs to keep it going here this evening. The Rangers need for that to happen. He's facing a tough Toronto team, and Tom's going to tell you about the Blue Jay lineup.
Well, Michael Saunders is 9th in the league with a .321 batting average. He's leading off tonight. Josh Donaldson, last year's MVP, is batting 2nd. Jose Bautista is 3rd. Edwin Encarnacion tied for 5th with 28 RBIs as the cleanup hitter. Justin Smoke is hot. He's hitting 5th. Troy Tulowitzki is the shortstop. Ezekiel Carrera gets the start tonight in place of Kevin Pillar. Russell Martin is the catcher, and batting 9th, the second baseman, Ryan Goins.
The Blue Jays, who won 5-0 last night on a couple of home runs, facing the 36-year-old right-hander Colby Lewis for the second time in about 10 days or so. Colby making his 8th start of the year, 2-0. Doesn't tell you nearly all you need to know about how well he's pitched. The .320 ERA is right there in the middle of that, and a .263 opponent's batting average, which is coming down. Colby with just 12 walks and 32 strikeouts in his 45 innings of work this year. And I'm not so sure that Colby has had a streak like this since he rejoined the Rangers in 2010, where he's been this consistent. You go over an 8-start stretch, and you'd have to go a ways to find any time that Colby has been better than what he has been lately. Now we'll take a look at the Ranger defense behind Colby tonight. It's delivered to you by the New Braunfels Convention and Visitors Bureau. Ryan Rua, Ian Desmond, and Nomar Mazzara, left, center, and right in the Ranger outfield. Morgan and Odor man the right side. Andrews and Beltre on the left side, and Bobby Wilson once again is behind the plate tonight. Well, the Blue Jays come in at 19-18. Jeff Bannister's ball club, the Texas Rangers, coming in at 20-16. Rangers still trailing the front-running Seattle Mariners by 1.5 games in the West. Meanwhile, the Toronto Blue Jays trailing Boston by 4.5 games in the American League Eastern Division. Well, Michael Saunders stepping in to get things underway. It's a great night out here at the ballpark. Rangers hoping to turn their fortunes around, and Colby gets things underway by inducing a foul pop to the left side. Back into the seats. 0 and 1 to Saunders. As Tom told you, Saunders a .321. That's good for 9th in the American League. 5 home runs and 11 driven in. And last 3 ball games, Michael Saunders has been torrid. 1 ball and 1 strike. Saunders, who has hit in many places for John Gibbons in the lineup. Most notably, he took over as the leadoff man when Kevin Pillar really struggled for the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season. John Gibbons made the change, and it benefited both of them. Saunders getting on base, and Pillar got himself back together. Moreland cuts it off. He will take it to the bag just ahead of Michael Saunders for the out. Well, when Mitch fielded that ball, normally he would have underhanded to the pitcher covering. Colby, though, a little slower than most of the pitchers getting over there. He's still in the vicinity, but Mitch, instead of taking a chance, went ahead and took it himself. I don't like the race between Colby Lewis and Michael Saunders.
No, they're two big guys, boy.
Yeah.
Neither one of them wants to bump into the other one. Although if I had to take the guy that's going to come out the best, I got to go with Mitch on that one. The only problem would be Saunders is at full speed going down the line.
But what you have to do is have Colby blocking for him and get over there in time.
That'll work.
No, one out on that ground ball. Now Josh Donaldson. Yeah, if you heard the little soundbite that we had that Emily Jones had with Colby talking about whether it was an advantage or a disadvantage to face the Blue Jays so quickly, he said something that was interesting to me, that you know, it really doesn't matter because you just read the hitters and their swings, and that's something is I found is kind of a lost art. I think for a long time that's how pitchers were taught to work, that the hitter would dictate what the next pitch should be by how you reacted to the pitch before. And Colby kind of following that script is, you know, whatever they look like, that's what I'm going to do. Rua backpedaling. 1-2 gone.
That one looked pretty good, but he hit it off the end of the bat. And it didn't carry very well, obviously. An easy play for Ryan Rua.
Pieces of bat flying all over the place. Rua in that one little area out there that still has some sunlight to deal with. Ryan with the glasses down and using them to full effect. Jose Bautista got the accustomed ovation that he's gotten used to down here. Full chorus of boos. Inside from Colby, 1 ball and 1 strike. Bautista hitting just .208. Rangers have handled him well this year. Just 2 for 20. And again, Bautista finding something to quibble about.
I don't think there's a hitter in the league that complains about balls and strikes more than he does.
No, I agree. Unless it's the guy that precedes him in the lineup,
yeah,
Josh Donaldson.
He's too good a player to be like that.
2-2.
What he ought to do is he ought to watch Adrian Beltre. That's what he ought to do.
That one just missed down and away, and the count goes full. Now, one thing he does, talking about Jose Bautista, is draw walks. He is right at the top of the league in free passes. And the payoff pitch from Colby. Call strike 3. You might complain about that, but he's headed back.
Can't argue that one. That's right in the middle of the strike zone, right down the middle.
3 up, 3 down. Blue Jays gone in order after a half inning, no score on Fox Sports Southwest. in the top of the first. Now the Rangers coming to bat. Tom Green was going to tell you about the Southwest Airlines Rangers batting order.
Rougned Odor is leading off, followed by Ian Desmond in center field. Nomar Mazara again bats third. Adrian Beltre's at third base. He's the cleanup hitter. Prince Fielder's batting fifth. At first base, Mitch Moreland. Shortstop is Elvis Andrus. Batting eighth is Ryan Ruin. Bobby Wilson is the catcher.
And Odor, first ball swinging, pops it up. And Josh Donaldson in foul territory has it for the first out. Rougned, who had a first at bat home run off Estrada in Toronto, pops up the first pitch. He is retired, and now Ian Desmond will come up. Estrada, a crafty right-hander. By that is, I mean, his stuff, velocity-wise, is below average, but that's the only thing below average. He is extremely foxy with his command, and he has a great changeup. He will throw it at any time. Throws it about 30% of the time, which is the most in the major leagues. And Desmond takes a strike. It is 0-1. Ian, a .252 average with 4 home runs and 19 driven in, just 2 for 15 against Estrada. One ball and 1 strike. Sun coming in over the first base side of the stands. That's not too much of a problem right now for the left fielder, as most of that is up above his head level when he's playing out there. About 20 minutes earlier, it's really a problem. Two and two. That's that cut fastball or slider, whichever you'd like to call it. Desmond facing Estrada. Estrada, the 32-year-old from Sonora, Mexico. Curveball is slapped the other way, and that's going to be out number 2. And it gives us an opportunity to show you the rest of the Blue Jays defense. Tonight you saw Michael Saunders in left field. Ezekiel Carrera is in center field tonight. Kevin Pillar scratched at the last minute. Jose Bautista in right. Justice Smoke at first. Ryan Goins at second. Troy Tulowitzki and Josh Donaldson on the left side of the diamond. Russell Martin back behind the plate for the Blue Jays tonight. A 2 up, 2 away. Nomar Mazara. .303 average for the rookie. 0-1. Mazara with 4 home runs, 12 driven in. That average second among qualifying rookies in the American League. He's fallen off just a little bit of late. He got off the terrifically hot start and kind of came back down some, but still .303 average over nearly a month of play. That is doing some work. And he's been doing some heavy lifting. .360 on base percentage is the best by rookies. 3-1 now, so Nomar trying to get aboard to extend this first inning. Adrian Beltre will follow. Pulled through the hole on the right side. And Mazara seemed like he was on base in Toronto every time he came to the plate. Singles here in the first, and it brings up Beltre.
Estrada was kind of an under-the-radar pickup by the Toronto Blue Jays. They traded Adam Lind to Milwaukee for him before last season. And he had a great season. He won 13 games, had an ERA of .313, had his best big league season, and he led the American League in opponents' batting averages. Opponents hit .203 against him last year. Toughest guy in the American League to hit was Marco Estrada.
Beltre takes inside for ball 1.
Which pretty much goes to show what we say all season long, Buzz. The radar gun is important, but it doesn't tell the whole story. There's a guy that doesn't break 90. He's the toughest guy in the league to hit.
Yep.
Starting pitcher-wise, anyway.
And he's on a list, if you go back over the last several years, Beltre takes high. Go back to 2008. There are only 4 pitchers that have a better opponent's batting average than Estrada.
So he's not sneaking up on anybody, and it's not a fluke.
And those 4 would be Kershaw, Sale, Arrieta, and Strasburg. Only 4 that have a better opponent's average than Marco Estrada. And ball 3 is outside. We'll take a look at our Kubota power stats tonight, talking about Marco Estrada. 161 career opponent average against the Rangers. The Rangers, one of 7 teams hitting under 200 against him. And he loses Adrian Beltre. So 2 aboard for Prince Fielder.
And fifth, the designated hitter, number 84, Prince Fielder.
Now, if there's one part of Estrada's game that might go haywire from time to time, it's the base on balls. You'd figure, well, he doesn't throw hard enough to really have a lot of base on balls. Yeah, he does. If he doesn't have very good command of his off-speed pitches, he can run into some problems, and the Rangers trying to find out here early if he's going to have one of those nights. Prince Fielder now an opportunity to do some damage with a 2-out hit. It's that high changeup.
It's so that changeup's so good, he can throw it right down the middle of the plate, and you still swing out in front of it.
Fielder, a couple of home runs, 20 men driven in. He's got Mazara out at second, right there at the bottom of your screen. He's trailed by Adrian Beltre over at first. Got him on the fist and a foul pop. Donaldson right at the railing, reaches in, and it looked like he made the catch. Did he hang on to it? Yes, he did. Nice play by Josh Donaldson, who gives the ball to a fan. And that'll do it for the Rangers. No runs a hit. They strand 2. After 1, Rangers nothing, Blue Jays nothing on Fox Sports Southwest. Edwin Encarnacion takes a slider in for strike 1. Encarnacion leading off this second inning. Scoreless ball game. Encarnacion smoked. And Tulowitzki to face Colby Lewis. Check swing. Did he go? No, he did not. He appealed down to the first base umpire, and tonight that's Dan Iassogna.
Edwin's using that same move that Adrian's used his whole career. And a close one, point to the first baseman before you call it a strike. I have to think he's picked that up from Adrian. He's the only one that I remember doing that.
Yeah, I would think so. There are umpires tonight. Lance Barrett calling the balls and strikes. Iassogna at first. Dale Scott, the crew chief, out at second. And Bob Davidson over at third. 2 balls and a strike. Encarnacion, you'll remember, hit that game-tying 2-run home run against Colby Lewis up in Toronto. Colby was cruising along with a 3-1 lead until the 6th inning, and Encarnacion got to him. One of the very few mistake pitches that Colby made, and the only mistake that really cost him. He gets a strikeout of Encarnacion here. That is out number 1. And before Justin Smoak steps in, let's welcome in Jim Knox to the program.
All right, appreciate it, Buzz. One of our favorite nights. It's dog night here. Bark in the park. That's right. We got the biggest dog right here, Huckleberry, right?
Yes.
How much does he weigh?
About 180 pounds.
About 180 pounds. And wow, that's a big guy there. And we got Dorothy. Nice outfit. Where are you from, Dorothy?
I'm from Crowley.
I thought you were going to say like Kansas or something. Okay, you got Beltray here dressed as
The Flying Monkey.
very nice, Dorothy. And I like the golden slippers right there, or the decorated slippers. Way to go. We're going to show a lot of the dogs throughout the night, but these are just a couple of the first of many, right? All right, guys, enjoy the game. Appreciate it, dogs. Come on, let's get some barking out of you guys.
We're not in Kansas anymore.
180 pounds. Wow. A ball and a strike to count to Justin Smoak. Colby taking something off, leaves it outside. It's 2-1. Smoak hitting at .318 is on a pretty good hot streak lately, too. He's hit very well against the Rangers in his career, whether it be in a Toronto uniform or a Seattle uniform. We saw the numbers against Colby. Colby hasn't really had the answer for him. Now the Rangers going to an overshift with a 3-1 count. And that fills things out. Smoak, a 4-game hitting streak that has seen him go 7 for 11. Last night was 2 for 2 with a couple of walks and a couple of doubles. And the Rangers now with a 3-2 count get Elvis back on the shortstop side of second base. Top down the first baseline. It's going to veer off into foul territory. We'll come back and try it again. Only 2 home runs of the year for Justin Smoak came in 1 game against the Rangers in Toronto. First one tied it up in the 9th inning. The second one won it in extra innings. And that was his first walk-off home run of his career for Justin Smoak. And it had to come against his former ball club. Another 3-2 pitch. Another foul ball. Got a good look at the crowd. Oh, it's filling in very nicely out here. Just about a sellout already here. And standing room only. Maybe a few singles available, but a lot of folks coming in to watch this one tonight. Still 3-2. Justin Smoak hitting 5th in the order. He'll be followed by the shortstop, Troy Tulowitzki.
That's a good cutter right in on the fist. He's thrown Smoak some good pitches.
Yep.
He's just following. Look at that strike zone. There's nothing in the middle of that strike zone. Everything's on the outside corner or the inside corner. And Smoak is swinging the bat well right now. He's hanging in there, hanging tough.
You know, Justin Smoak, that probably applies to left-handed. I don't think it would to right-handed. Much better low ball hitter left-handed than he is right-handed. And calls strike 3 at the top of the zone for Colby.
Well, he's questioning whether that ball was high. All he's got to do is go back and watch the replay. He'll find out it's all the way in the middle of the strike zone. No doubt about that strike. Right down the middle. That's not touching it. That's in the strike zone.
So 3 consecutive strikeouts now for Colby Lewis. And Tulowitzki checked his swing on a curveball for ball 1. Tulowitzki hitting just 175, but he had his 7th home run of the year last night. One ball and 1 strike. Mentioned last night, Tulowitzki, it looked like the people around the Blue Jays club were really pressing. And I guess one figure that you'd look at to tell you he's pressing, 15 of his 19 RBI have come on the road. So when he's been at home, he has really tried to leave the impression with the home crowd that he was a contributing member, and gets on the road and relaxes a little bit. 1-2 offering. That evens the count.
I read another stat about Tulowitzki early in the season. Swinging and missing at pitches in the strike zone a lot more than he has in the past. Not necessarily chasing pitches out of the strike zone, but missing the ones in the strike zone.
That is back and out of play. And while we have a second here, we'd like to remind you can meet Ranger Jake Diekman and Rangers captain coming up on the 24th of May at the Whataburger on Sycamore School Road in Fort Worth. Don't miss this chance to get great prizes and to meet one of the Texas Rangers at Whataburger. Just visit texasrangers.com/appearances for more information. Calls strike 3. Colby punches out the side in order and leaves the Blue Jays bewildered. A 6 up and 6 down as Tulowitzki heads back to the dugout after 1.5, no score. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Well, Marco Estrada going to work here on Mitch Moreland to start off the bottom of the second inning. Scoreless ball game. It'll be Moreland, Andrus, and Rua, the first 3 Rangers to do the swinging against Marco Estrada. On the outside corner, or somewhere near there.
Okay, so there's a pitch that's, according to the trackers, outside. Mitch never even looked back, never said a word, just got back in the box. I swear that every Blue Jay hitter has complained about a ball and a strike, and every one they've complained about has been a strike. The one to Tulowitzki was borderline, but it was a strike. It was high enough. Some of the other ones were all the way in the strike zone, and they're complaining about them.
2-1 the count. And that foul ball will even things up. Yeah, and you said it right. The Blue Jays, it's not just one guy or 2 guys. It's every batter that goes up there. So used
if
to,
you're pitching a good, if you're pitching a good game and you're hitting your spots and you're throwing strikes, you're not getting calls that are out of the strike zone, but you're hitting the spots and you're getting the calls. And the hitters are moaning and groaning. Is that chapping you on the mound, or is it or are you getting some joy out of it? Does it make you mad, or are you laughing at them?
No, well, it depends on how they're doing it. If they're complaining about everything, that makes me a little bit angry. If just 1 or 2 guys complain about it, then I kind of chuckle, to myself. I like to see hitters complain about it.
It shows they're frustrated.
Yeah. They're thinking about something other than beating my brains in, which happens from time to time.
I guess I'm just so used to watching our guys. Our guys never complain.
Very
rarely. Occasionally they do. And sometimes they've got a good complaint, but for the most part, they don't.
Mitch up there fighting off a couple of tough pitches. Still 3 balls, 2 strikes. Moreland trying to get aboard to start off this second inning. Elvis Andrus is in that on-deck circle. Outside, ball 4. Mitch takes the walk. Second walk.
And the manager's going to complain now. Those pitches are 6 inches outside.
Well, part of that is Lance Barrett's fault because the pitch in the same spot was called a strike on the 1-0 play. And, you know, from a manager's spot on the bench, you see the gloves in the same spot. The ball hits it. One was a strike, one was a ball. Now, what is the deal here?
He'd be the world's greatest umpire from that. If he can call balls and strikes from the dugout, boy,
Yep.
he can see them pretty good.
Yep. Elvis a 286 average. Shoots one to the right side. That's a base hit. Moreland will stop at second. So walk, base hit. Rangers had that in the first inning, but that was with 2 outs. Now nobody out. And runners at first and second for Ryan Rua. Nice piece of hitting by Elvis.
You see the second baseman pulled around towards second base, gives a huge hole to shoot at. And if you're a hitter like Elvis and you see that, you've got a hole to begin with, the first baseman holding the runner on. But when you combine that with the second baseman shading way over towards second base, you're a hitter like Elvis, you have to try to hit a ground ball in the hole right there. You have to give it at least one shot.
If they put that shift on for Elvis every time, he's going to hit about 400.
He should. He should be able to hit the ball one right after the other.
In the dirt, nice stop by Russell Martin. 1 ball, no strikes.
It really looked like Elvis saw that hole and made the effort and did that.
No,
it doesn't have to be a hard hit ball. You just got to hit it there.
It's one thing if you're talking, well, Prince Fielder, guys in the middle of the order in general. If they, don't want to take the ball the other way when they have a chance to drive in some runs, that's understandable. And Prince does take it the other way when he has a chance to drive in runs. But, you understand because they're trying to hit home runs. That's part of what they get paid for. Elvis is not a home run hitter, but he's a good enough hitter that he could hit that hole 7 times out of 10 probably. Now you see that chart on Elvis, but that shouldn't be the basis for a shift against a guy who does not have power.
And even if that chart shows that he hits most of his ground balls to the left side of the infield, it doesn't show that for the most part they're not shifting. And so if you do shift, he's not going to hit the same amount of balls to the left side of the infield because he's going to try to hit them against the shift.
Yep. 2-1 the count to Ruitt. Now time called. Russell Martin going to go out and talk to Estrada.
Maybe you see those stats and you say, okay, he pulls most of his ground balls. Let's put the shift on. That's fine if the hitter can't hit the ball to right field, can't handle the bat. But that's just an invitation to Elvis to try to get an easy base hit.
Well, and it also limits what the pitcher can do to a guy like Elvis. You have to be able to work both sides of the plate to Elvis. You hit it like that. And if you can't throw the ball away to him to start things off, you're going to be in trouble. Ruitt completely fooled on that. Ruitt 5 for his last 12 on this homestand. That is low and inside. 3-2 to Ryan Ruitt. 2 on with nobody out. Ruitt trying to join Moreland and Andrus. Bobby Wilson, major catcher in that on-deck circle. The dirt for ball 4. Bases are full for Bobby Wilson, who already has a grand slam to his credit as a Ranger this year.
Buzz, you were talking earlier about Estrada at sometimes being prone to being a little bit wild when he doesn't get his off-speed pitches over, and that's the case right now.
Yeah.
The other side of it is the hitters have to lay off some of those pitches because if you swing and help him out on those bad pitches, then you don't get quite the same effect of the bases on balls. But they're laying off the changeup pretty good right now.
They really are, Tom. You're right. And it limits what Estrada can do to you then, because he doesn't throw hard enough to just rear back and throw a fastball by you. So base is full, nobody out, and Bobby Wilson going after the off-speed pitch with no success. It's strike one.
You just can't help but be a little over-anxious, a little aggressive with the bases loaded. And Estrada, I'm sure, is well aware of that, as is the veteran catcher Russell Martin. And instead of getting a fastball, he started him off with a changeup.
That's a little bit inside. Bobby Wilson with the Rangers, a .333 average with a home run. That was a grand slam in Detroit. It was on Sunday afternoon. 5 RBI overall this year, a .265 average with 7 RBI. 1-2. And here is that grand slam off Mark Lowe, former Ranger, on Sunday afternoon in Detroit in that big 7-run 8th inning. For the Rangers, salting away that victory. Pulled foul down the left field line.
Boy, did everything he could to wait on it that time. Did a lot better. He made some solid contact, but he's still out in front of it. And no matter who the hitter is, I guess with some exceptions, you're still in the back of your mind think you're going to get a fastball. That's a pretty good changeup, and reached for it and made some contact with it anyway.
Estrada ready, another 1-2 pitch coming. That evens the count now, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bobby Wilson a chance to unload the bases here. Rangers this year with runners in scoring position, the best in the major leagues with a .310 average. 2-2. Outside, 3-2. And John Gibbons' temperature going up with each ball that's called.
All he's got to do is go back and watch the chart of every pitch of the game, and I think he'll have a different opinion.
The 3-2 pitch. Out of play. Good job by Bobby. That was a fastball, and that's his best fastball. Marco Estrada's best fastball. And Bobby spoiling it. Needing the guard now against virtually any speed that Estrada throws. Right-hander getting ready for his 40th pitch of the evening. Got that one in. Bobby's still able to fight it off.
He's thrown 40 pitches and does not have an out in the second inning.
And he's been a big part of that rotation for the Blue Jays, who the month of May has been first in Major League Baseball with that ERA of 1.76. Popped up. Coming back, Russell Martin. He's going to run out of room. That's back in the second row.
Good battle right here. Bobby's really making him work.
Sure is.
Estrada's thrown every pitch he's got.
Well, Estrada walking slowly back to the mound. He's trying to figure out what in the world he's going to do now. Tenth pitch of the at-bat coming up. And another foul. I think Bobby's shown Estrada that he's going to cover the entire plate.
Yeah.
And there's not much that Estrada can do about it. Throw him a speed that he's not expecting. Yeah, Moreland, Andrus, and Rua. Third, second, and first. Hit well to left center field. On his horse is Carrera at the wall. Goodbye! Bobby Wilson, another grand salami. And the Rangers
the at-bat of the year right there. What was it, 12 pitches? Fouled off changeups, fouled off fastballs, and finally got one and centered it.
Bobby Wilson. Wow. Talk about a guy that's rising to an occasion. Rougned Odor swinging strike one, and there is a huge buzz going around Globe Life Park.
And there's center square to top it off with pitch number 11.
Bobby knows right about this. Yeah, I think I got that one. And Odor gone on strikes. That is the first out here in the second inning.
But I think you said this the other day, Buzz. If a catcher is looking for a home, he's trying to sign with the Rangers, because whoever comes here to catch just seems like they step into the lineup and have a great time with it.
That happened with everybody that came over last year after the injuries, and it's happened this year too.
Yeah. Brian Holiday had a big home run the other day. Bobby did it last year and this year. Chris Jimenez last year. Of course, when he's healthy, Robinson Chirinos adds power at the bottom of the lineup. It's not the same guy every day like it is for some teams, but the combination is certainly getting the job done.
Nomar Mazara pulled a single through the hole on the right side, his first time up. Base is empty, 2 out. Rangers on top, 4-0. The Rangers certainly made Marco Estrada pay for his lapse of command. 2 walks and a single prior to the grand slam. And Mazara has his second hit. It's down for a single in right center. No, 2 out with Mazara in first. And here's Adrian Beltre. Rangers have made Estrada work. 17 is not a great count for him in that first inning, but 33 here in the second, and he still only has 2 outs. Beltre drew a walk his first time. Biagini getting loose in that Toronto bullpen. This is something that Blue Jays just not used to. Joe Biagini having to get up and get loose here in the second inning behind Marco Estrada. And Beltre lofts a fly ball to right. Bautista there, that is going to do it. But Bobby Wilson cleaned the bases off his second grand slam in the span of 7 days. 4 runs for the Rangers. Will go to the third. Rangers leading Toronto 4-0. Well, Colby Lewis, a newfound lead to work with. How about 4-0? As his battery mate, Bobby Wilson, unloaded the bases with a blast. And now the top of the third starts with Ezequiel Carrera. Carrera not in the original starting lineup for John Gibbons. Kevin Pillar had to be removed about 45 minutes before game time. Had some chest soreness. So Carrera, who's been swinging the bat well in limited play, inserted as the center fielder, and he's ahead in the count now, 2-1. Carrera, 333 average. There's Pillar. Three balls and a strike. Our Ford leaderboard talking about strikeouts in Ranger history, and this is updated for Colby Lewis. Colby just ran past Ferguson Jenkins for 5th on the all-time list. 896 punch-outs. He's about 45 away from, or 47 away from Nolan Ryan, 45 away. That is out number 1 as Carrera flies to his counterpart. And let's go down and check in with Emily Jones.
Thank you very much here on Oklahoma State University night with Cowboys kicker, former Cowboys kicker and current Dallas Cowboys kicker, Dan Bailey. Dan, for you, what's it like to be out here representing your alma mater?
Well, it's an honor, you know. I mean, to come out here and represent my university is a big honor, and it's a lot of fun, too. I mean, anytime you can come out and enjoy a game of baseball and, you know, rep the alma mater a little bit at the same time, it's always a good time.
We talked in the pregame show. You were a little disappointed in your first pitch that you threw out a couple years ago. You were going to try and redeem yourself this year. I thought you did a good job, but you seem to be your own toughest critic. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. You know, I wanted to throw a little harder, get a little more speed on it, but then you lose accuracy. So I tried to take a little off just so I could get it over the plate, and seemed to do okay. So I'm somewhat happy with the result.
Pitch Track actually had it hitting the corner, so you're in good shape. And you do know a thing or two about accuracy. You seem to have mastered that as far as the NFL kicking game is concerned. How excited are you for next season, considering, you know, kind of a disappointing last year?
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, disappointing.
Not for you personally, but for the team.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, when you have a year like that, all you want to do is get back on the field and kind of right the ship a little bit. So, you know, we've been working hard this offseason. I think guys are kind of ready to get mini camp out of the way and get to training camp and you know, get the season rolling. So we're excited. You know, our heads are high. We learned a lot from last year, and you know, just gonna have to see how it goes.
Dan, thank you for the time. We appreciate it. Enjoy OSU night here at the ballpark. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
Hey, tell him if he wants to throw it as hard as he can next time. Tom and I know a good orthopedist. He can get his arm put back together.
Yeah, Tom and Buzz said if you want to throw it as hard as you can the next time, they've got a good orthopedist they can recommend if you want to try to throw it as hard as you can.
I might need it.
Thanks for your time, bud. Back to you guys.
If you grade on a curve, he's probably in the top 10% of first pitches.
Oh yeah.
He looked like a ball player. He threw a strike. Doesn't get any better than that.
Swinging on the first pitch, Ryan Goins deep to right field, and that ball is gone. Goins going up there looking for a Colby Lewis pitch in a zone, and he got it. It's his second home run of the year. That cuts the Ranger lead to 4-1.
Well, when you face the Toronto Blue Jay lineup and you kind of carve your way through Donaldson, Bautista, Encarnacion, Tulowitzki, and you get to the 9th place hitter after retiring 8 in a row, you're not looking for Ryan Goins to do that to you. Got a fastball down and in and put a great swing on it. There was no doubt about it.
Oh, back to the top of the order now, and Michael Saunders going the other way, out of play. Zara back, and all he could do is watch that sail about 6 rows deep in the lower home run porch. Well, Colby allowing his 10th home run of the year. 1 ball and 1 strike to Saunders, who grounded to first in the first. That home run, by the way, the first base hit against Colby, the first base runner against Colby Lewis, and 2 2/3 tonight. And Saunders waited on a breaking ball and popped it into center for a single. Now, before Josh Donaldson steps in, we're going to send it back to Aaron Hardigan for a Chevy game break. All right, Aaron, thank you. Well, how about Ortiz? He's not going out quietly, is he? Donaldson goes out quietly as he hits a one-hopper right to Adrian Beltre. And that's going to do it. But Ryan Goins gets them on the board as Dan Bailey represented Oklahoma State very well. 2.5 in the books. Rangers lead by 3. To the ballpark this year. All you have to do is bring a Dr. Pepper can to the box office or use the online coupon code Dr. Pepper, and you receive savings of up to 29% on most Sunday through Thursday games. Visit TexasRangers.com/specials to get your tickets for tomorrow's game against these Blue Jays. And don't forget, that's a 2:05 start. Prince Fielder starting things off here for the Rangers in the third. Texas on top 4-1. Fielder fouled out to third, his first time up there. It'll be Fielder, Moreland, and Andrews. Estrada back to the plate. And the check swing is ruled a non-swing by Bob Davidson down there at third base.
You know, Aaron was talking about David Ortiz. Today he had the home run in the third inning, game-tying triple in the ninth, the walk-off double in the 11th. So he gets 3 hits, a double, a triple, and a home run. Swing and a miss. He's 10th in the league, hitting .320, tied for 4th in home runs with 10, and tied for 1st in RBIs with 33. .320, 10, and 33, and he's going to retire.
Our T-Mobile, greater coverage of baseball for you. And the second one is what Tom was talking about, David Ortiz. Doing it all. Yeah, he's going to retire.
He's going to retire.
Yeah.
Most people retire when they show some, like a little bit of a downward trend in their careers. His is either plateaued out or getting better.
Moreland, a towering pop-up to the third baseman. Josh Donaldson has to go after because he was the only one on that side. And how about in the Windy City? Chris Sale, Jake Arrieta. They are 15-0 between them for their respective clubs. ERAs and opponent's batting average. Wow. Undefeated in the last 21 starts for Jake Arrieta, the Cubs are. That is a pretty impressive Chicago stat right there.
Cubs are 27-8. Arrieta's got a 1.13 ERA. John Lester 1.96 and Jason Hamill 1.77. They got 3 starting pitchers with ERAs below 2. And then they've got John Lackey and Kyle Hendricks, who are 6 and 4 between them, with an ERA between them of 3.2. Those are their weak links.
1 ball, 1 strike to Elvis. And that's all of a sudden become a juggernaut up there.
Yes, so. And they've had pretty solid offense, but when you look at the guys in their lineup, there's not many guys in their lineup that are having all-star caliber years yet. They really haven't gotten hot, a lot of them.
Yeah, 3-1 now. So Elvis trying to get aboard with 2 outs. If he's able to extend this inning, Ryan Rule will get a shot at Estrada. Elvis had a base hit to right his first time. The shift is no longer employed. They are back to pretty much straight up. Second baseman Goins shading a couple of steps towards second. More normal alignment. Outside, Elvis aboard for the second time tonight. That's 4 walks now for Marco Estrada. That matches his season high. Done that 2 other times prior to tonight. R.A. Dickey, of course, handcuffed the Rangers completely last night for 8 innings.
Yeah, that was a knuckleballing masterpiece last night.
Fortunately, he can't pitch back-to-back nights yet.
Wilbur Wood pitched both games of a doubleheader.
He did. He did.
Wasn't 41 years old when he did it, though. Toronto pitchers hadn't given up a home run in over 40 innings when Bobby Wilson hit that grand slam.
Well, they make a splash and then decide to give one up.
Some pretty good pitching between the White Sox and the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Where the Rangers have seen a lot of over the last couple of weeks.
There goes Elvis. The pitch is swung on and missed. And no throw from Russell Martin. By the time he came up out of his crouch, Elvis was already into his slide.
That's about a perfect jump.
Yep.
Russell Martin would love to have thrown it, but all it would be doing is getting warmed up for the next one.
0-2 to Rua. Call strike 3. Change up floating in on the outside corner. And that'll do it. So the Walker, Elvis Andrus, left stranded. We'll go to the 4th inning. It remains the Rangers 4, the Blue Jays 1 on Fox Sports Southwest. The 2016 MLB All-Star Game. Let's visit TexasRangers.com/vote and vote for the Rangers as your favorite team. Elvis picking it up and throwing it at Batista. How about that?
Yeah,
Didn't run out of the batter's box because he assumed he was out. He hits a line drive to Adrian. It was hit so hard, Adrian couldn't handle it. By the time Bautista ran, Elvis had time to throw him out. That's an unusual 5-6-3. Elvis.
Finally, Elvis has a chance to give it back a little bit.
Elvis is picking up his buddy on that one. Adrian says, thanks, little buddy. That was a rope, boy. I think that ball touched Adrian's glove before Bautista had a chance to even take one step out of the batter's box.
Encarnacion, he rips one foul. Let me finish telling you about the voting, if I can get a chance to.
Go for it.
Anyway, you can visit TexasRangers.com/vote, and you vote for the Rangers as your favorite team, and you'll get an offer for 50% off tickets for select games in August or September. Vote today, vote tomorrow, vote early, vote often, vote online. Vote for your Rangers at TexasRangers.com/vote. Encarnacion went down swinging his first time up there. Colby with a 2-1 pitch. Now 3 balls and a strike.
Let's see if he gets out of the batter's box. Took one step. That's how hard he hit that ball. Whoops.
Yeah.
He didn't catch it.
Towering pop-up out behind second. Rougned Odor camping underneath it. That is out number 2. Encarnacion 0 for 2 as he trots back across the diamond. Now Justin Smoak. Smoak called out on strikes in the second inning. Colby went through a streak where all 4 of his strikeouts came on 4 consecutive hitters. Strikeout of Bautista in the first, and then he got Encarnacion, Smoak, and Tulowitzki in order in the second. Good breaking ball. The curveball from Colby. Strike 1. Pitch in on his fists, and Colby the advantage in the count at no balls and 2 strikes. Colby a very manageable 60 pitches thus far. Comfortable evening. Temperature in the mid-60s, maybe dropping just a little bit, but very low humidity tonight. Nice night at Globe Life Park. And a huge crowd. Looks to be, if not a sellout, they didn't miss it by much. Fans all over the place out here. To left field, Rua back to his right and makes the catch. Smoak hit it hard, but he has an over to show for it. 3 up, 3 down. We finished 3.5. Colby Lewis and the Rangers leading the Blue Jays 4-1.
Buzz and Tom, Bark at the Park continues. Look at all these great looking dogs and outfits. What's his name?
Tiki.
There we go.
Rufus.
Lucky.
Lucky.
This is Penny.
Penny.
Ducky.
Ducky.
This is Reagan.
Hey, you're a little big for a dog like that, but that's okay.
Brutus.
Looks like Brutus. And the best dressed dog?
This is Chloe.
All right, all looking good, guys. Way to go. Way to go, Brutus. I wish we'd call you Butkus. There we go.
Very well-behaved dogs out there. Nobody's getting angry with each other. That's good.
We've had dog night sometimes when it's about 100 degrees out.
Yeah.
They got a perfect night for dog night.
Yeah. Bobby Wilson leading off the Ranger fourth inning. Bobby, the difference in the ball game thus far. Wilson, our TXU Energy power player to watch. What a week he's had. How about that? 5 for 15 with 2 grand slams. First 2 of his career, and didn't take him long to match his first with his second. .364 average is what Bobby has going. 2 home runs, 9 driven in. Pulls this one. Donaldson got a good break on it, and softly hooking line drive is taken care of for out number 1. Now back to the top of the Ranger order, and Rougned Odor.
Not quite hard enough to get by Donaldson.
Odor has popped out and struck out. He tries to take it the other way, and good idea. He just sliced it a little too much.
That's a 3rd or 4th ball that's been hit right down in that general area.
Good thing he brought his cap there. He can use it for a glove. Estrada on to Smoke. 2 gone. And next will be Ian Desmond. Estrada got himself in hot water in that second inning. Walked Mitch Moreland to start things off, gave up a single to Elvis. Then walked Ryan Rua, and Bobby Wilson made him pay for the lapse in command. It is second grand slam of the week, and now Ian Desmond trying to prolong this 4th inning. Ian hit a 2-hop smash to third base his last time up. 0 for 2, hitting at .248. 1 ball and 1 strike. Now 1-2. Ian Desmond had his 7-game hitting streak snapped last night. Took an 0 for 4. That doesn't diminish what he's been doing lately. The last 23 games, a better part of 4 weeks. He's hit .329, 9 doubles, 4 home runs, 18 RBI, and he scored 20 runs. That is doing some work.
That is.
Call strike 3. Estrada able to hit the inside corner, and that'll do it. Rangers down in order for the first time tonight. We've finished 4. Rangers on top 4-1. Texas Rangers baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by Mazda. In every car we make, you'll see why driving matters. Colby Lewis to the hill, starting the 5th inning here tonight, and Troy Tulowitzki takes ball 1. It'll be Tulowitzki, Carrera, and Martin. First 3 Blue Jays to face Colby. Hot shot, fair ball off the glove of Beltre. Tulowitzki, a big turn, he's going for 2, and Beltre can't get there in time to do anything about it. Looked like that ball was hooking. Adrian went after it like he thought he had a pretty sure play on it, and it just kept on going, trickled off his glove and down the line.
Yeah, Adrian shading that way. Boy, that ball is barely fair.
Oh, Tulowitzki aboard with the leadoff double. Here's Ezekiel Carrera and Adrian Beltre, the third baseman, playing in to prevent or to play against the bunt. Carrera, of course, with good speed and an accomplished bunter, takes strike 1. Adrian right at the cut of the grass. Mitch Moreland playing at a normal depth behind first. Carrera flied out to center field. His first time up there. Colby doing some painting. That outside corner. Nothing in 2. Up the middle by Odor into center field. Around third. Tulowitzki will come in to score. The ball gets by Desmond, and Carrera just keeps on going. He is safely aboard at second. It is a 4-2 Ranger lead. A single, an RBI, and an error then on Ian Desmond to allow Carrera to advance the extra 90 feet.
Carrera down in the count, made some solid contact. You mentioned he's been swinging the bat pretty well, 400 in his last 16 games. It's an 0-2 pitch near the middle of the plate, puts a pretty good swing on it, and finds a hole with that ground ball.
Like Colby was trying to make that a backdoor slider that just started in the back door and got too much of the house.
I think one thing as time goes on, Ian will get used to on that kind of a play. He charged it very aggressively, and that's the way he plays. But there was not going to be a play at the plate, and it's just kind of a routine ground ball. And maybe get a little bit more under control as you get to the ball will keep that from happening.
Ball gets away from Bobby Wilson just far enough to allow Carrera to hit on into third. Well, things unraveling a bit here for the Rangers in the top of the 5th inning. He ruled a wild pitch as the ball just didn't come up quite as much as Bobby Wilson thought it was going to. Oh, now Carrera at third. 1-1 the count. Now 1-2 on Russell Martin. Martin, you'll remember when Rangers faced the Blue Jays in Toronto at Rogers Center. Martin missed the better part of 2 games. He had some neck spasms and was really having a tough time. He was striking out when he was in the game about half the time. That's improved somewhat, but still 39 strikeouts and 104 plate appearances. 37.5% strikeout rate. That's his second highest of any player. Elvis coming to the plate. The throw gets it. Nice reaction by Elvis to cut down Carrera at the plate.
That's one of those plays you get fortunate on. It's a hard hit ball right at Elvis, and even though you've got a fairly fast runner at third base, Elvis had a shot at him, and he took the shot and got the big out at the plate. Blue Jays are going to look at it, make a decision. You see Elvis is playing back. The runner at third got a pretty good jump. Here's the throw, and there's the tag. Still looking at it, I guess.
Like they were looking at it was to make sure that Bobby Wilson gave Carrera a sliding lane to the back part of the plate, which he did. You can see by that shot right there. And you saw Carrera's left hand kind of sneak around the shin guard of Bobby Wilson. I think that's what John Gibbons was waiting to find out from upstairs. So they're going to challenge it. They're going to use that manager's challenge. And headsets being donned by both the home plate umpire, Lance Barrett, who made the call, and Dale Scott, the second base umpire, who's the crew chief. So our replay review tonight brought to you by Ford. Blue Jays challenge, the first challenge we've had of this ball game. Dale Scott, Lance Barrett getting the headsets on. They are in touch with Replay Command Center back in New York. And they will look at all the various angles of this replay. This is probably going to show you the best angle that we have. The tag is applied now, just before Carrera's hand gets in there, and the decision's going to make.
No doubt about that one.
No, folks in New York saw that, so no, that was the right call. The challenge is denied. The call is upheld, confirmed, and there is one out now with Martin at first base. A big play in this ballgame.
Yeah, very fortunate play. And a good play by Elvis. Infield's playing back. They're giving up the run, conceding the run to get the out at first base. But the ball was hit hard enough right at Elvis. He looked, had time, and then it's just a matter of executing the throw, which he did.
We have clarification on that challenge. First of all, they were challenging the tag at the plate, whether that was in time or not. And then the secondary challenge, which is kind of goes hand in hand, was there a violation of the blocking of home plate by the catcher, Bobby Wilson in this case. And both those, that was denied. So challenge completely goes against the Blue Jays.
It looked like Bobby pretty much was a textbook example of how to catch the ball and make the tag at the plate.
Yeah, he did.
And do it legally.
Right. Did not get in front of the plate with that foot before he had the ball. Once he had the ball, then he had given the runner an opportunity to slide to part of the plate, which is required. Hot shot. One hopper is going to turn into two. How about a turn of events there? Runner cut down at home plate, then a smoke. One hopper to Elvis turns in to a 6-4-3. And Colby Lewis, the Rangers out of the inning, and we're halfway through the ball game. Rangers leading 4-2 over the Blue Jays.
Blue Jays, as we head to the bottom of the 5th, and we have reached that magical point of the broadcast where I bring you food that's really large and I attempt to eat it, but you know what? I'm gonna throw in wave the white flag on this one. This is the Wicked Pig, a Hawaiian roll layered with pulled pork, thick-cut Danish bacon, a split sausage, prosciutto, thick sliced ham covered in barbecue sauce and topped with coleslaw and pork rinds.
Wow.
This thing, I mean, I'll pick it up, but listen, I've got a big mouth, but this will not even attempt to fit into it. So I will pick it up for you and show you its gloriousness. And then I will take a small bite-sized portion of this sausage right here and give it a sample.
That is a piece of art right there.
Very good. Okay, so $27, located at the 557 Smokehouse, Section 49. $27 though, but you guys, this could be split amongst 5 people.
Yeah.
Just ask for like 4 extra plates. Is my I'm so sorry.
You all right, Em?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Protect that sandwich.
Yes. The sandwich might have saved me. The sandwich is okay, everyone. The sandwich is okay. People are requesting bites of the sandwich. I'm going to hand it off. But yeah, the Wicked Pig. Looks good. The sausage was good. I'm going to taste it layer by layer and let you know what I think.
All right, we'll wait for a report here. Meanwhile, Nomar Mazara in a hurry to get back to have some of that sandwich. Put down swinging is out number 1, and Estrada now is calmed back down. That's his 5th strikeout of the night. And since the grand slam by Bobby Wilson in the 2nd, he's only allowed 2 base runners.
He can pitch, there's no doubt about it. Before this game, he'd faced the Rangers 3 times and pitched 6 innings and given up 1 run in all 3 starts.
Adrian got a pitch up to his liking and hit a towering fly ball that Bautista takes care of for out number 2. And before Prince Fielder comes to the plate, let's throw it on over to Aaron Hardigan for a Chevy game break. All right, Aaron, thank you. Prince Fielder takes a floating changeup for strike 1. Prince has fouled out and struck out tonight, 0 for 2. Flagged down by Estrada. A little toss to first, and Rangers down in order in the 5th inning, and Estrada now has retired 7 straight. On to inning number 6. Rangers 4, Blue Jays 2 on Fox Sports Southwest. Take advantage of discounted tickets and spend the evening with your 2 favorite things. That would be your daughter and the Texas Rangers. That's on Father-Daughter Night coming up May 27th. Post-game father-daughter themed fireworks show follows the Pirates-Ranger game, and you can visit TexasRangers.com/Family Days to order your tickets today. Top of the 6th inning and the top of the Toronto order. Michael Saunders taking low, 1 ball and 1 strike. It'll be Saunders, Donaldson, and Bautista. Saunders singled to center his last time up. He's 1 out of 2. Currently hitting at .325. That one just missed the inside corner. Our steel pitch tracker disagrees with Lance Barrett, but Lance is the one that makes that call. That is on the inside corner. 2-2.
He just said same pitch.
Barrett said, no, I called 1 a ball and 1 a strike.
Yeah, technically, I guess you should be happy to be 1 for 2 on those 2 pitches.
Colby kind of stumbling a bit as he went through his follow-through. So the count is full. Saunders will be followed by Josh Donaldson. Colby to the line for the payoff pitch. Instead, time is called.
Mentioned that Saunders was 9th in the league coming into the game with a .321 average. He's 10th with a .554 slugging percentage as well. He's having a pretty good year. He's been hurt most of the last 2 years.
Yep.
He was in DL twice in 2014 and most of the year in 2015. He's really never had a chance to play every day and prove himself, but getting a pretty good opportunity now and making the best out of it.
Still 3-2. Yeah, and that kind of derailed him, if I remember right, when he was with Seattle. Those years, never really had a good health on his side. Got off to a couple of good starts, had some good spurts in Seattle, but just never could stay on the field long enough to really establish himself.
In his career, coming into the season, he'd been up about over 1,700 times, and his career batting average was .230. And so he's playing well above that right now.
Colby with another 3-2 pitch. Call strike 3. Saunders flipping the bat in disgust, and it didn't look like he will say anything to Lance Barrett as he walks back to the dugout.
That pitch is right down the middle of the plate. It's not even close to being a ball. That's all the way in the middle of the strike zone.
5th strikeout for Colby Lewis, his first since the 2nd inning. Here's Josh Donaldson, and he hammers one foul way down that left field line. Flanking in and out of the lower suites down there.
Donaldson doesn't get cheated. Almost half of his hits this year have gone for extra bases. Be careful hitting him down where the dogs are. They don't have a glove with him.
That is ruled a strike by Dan Iasonia. Can you imagine how many dogs will go crazy if a ball pulled by them? They would just be in hog heaven or dog heaven. Give me that ball. I know you have it somewhere. Still 0-2. Donaldson currently hitting at .271. Hits are even at 4 in this ball game. Rangers with 4 runs all on 1 swing of the bat from Bobby Wilson. Line drive to right at Nomar Mazara. 2 gone. Next will be Jose Bautista, and we'll see what kind of a greeting he gets. Let's calm down a little bit. I guess everybody's taking some time to be with their dogs and be nice. Bautista, an 0 for 2 evening. He was called out on strikes in the first and hit a rocket off of Adrian's glove. Fortunately, it kind of carried him over to Elvis Andrus, who threw him out. 0-1 pitch. Bautista, a 2.05 average as he stands in against Colby. Got in on him, and a fly ball lazily out to center. Ian Desmond handles that, and that'll do it. 3 up and 3 down. Colby Lewis sending the Blue Jays out. 5.5 in the books at Globe Life Park in Arlington. Rangers leading 4-2. It's time now for the Sonic Slam Inning, brought to you by Sonic. Tonight's jackpot is worth $400 and dinner for 2 at Sonic Drive-In. If a Ranger hits a home run during this inning, Eileen Needham from Corinth will win $400. And if a Ranger hits a grand slam during the inning, well, Eileen's going to take home $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. Mitch Moreland hit a towering pop-up over by the Ranger dugout. Russell Martin stays with it right in front of the photographer's well. That is out number 1. Well, Mitch, who walked and scored in the second, now 0 for 2 officially. And Elvis Andrus coming up.
The shortstop, Elvis Andrus.
Looks like that type of a play should be a lot harder than the catchers make it look. But very seldom do you see a catcher have a hard time with that kind of a pop-up.
Yeah.
Occasionally in the sun, maybe, or the wind, but for the most part, when they're back to the ball, they go back and make those plays one right after the other. That's why they call it the big leagues. That's what you're supposed to do.
Here's Elvis, who has been aboard both times tonight. He shoots one just foul outside third. Elvis singled to right and scored in the second, then walked and stole second, but was stranded there in the third. An average up to 292. Elvis starting to come out of what was a little bit of a slump for him. Hit just 204 in his last couple of weeks of play. He ripped that one foul right over the head of Spike Owen, the Ranger third base coach down there. Biagini and Girodo. Biagini, the right-hander, loosening for Toronto. So we may have seen all we're going to see of Estrada after this inning. Rolled it slowly out to shortstop. 2 gone. Hey, if he retire 9 straight the way that Estrada has, and they've got the bullpen up, heating up in a hurry. It's a little tougher game than I thought it was.
They take away that 35 pitch inning, and Estrada's pitching his game.
Yes, he is. Here's Rua. Ryan walked and scored in the second. Last time up, called out on strikes. Got him on the fist, left center field. In a hurry, it's going to fall. No communication out there between Carrera and Saunders. Going for 3 is Rua. A head first dive has him in there. Well, both Saunders and Carrera were about equidistant from the ball when they looked at each other. And as they did that, the ball fell between them and rolled past them.
Yeah, if there was only one of them out there, either the center fielder or the left fielder, either one of them would have made the catch, it looked like. But the miscommunication allowed it to fall. Soft fly ball, it hangs up there. It's Carrera's ball. I don't know if he called for it or not. But ideally, you want the center fielder to take charge, make the call. The left fielder gets out of the way, and the center fielder trots over and makes the catch. It was closer to him than it was the left fielder.
Now, it gives Bobby Wilson a chance to have an even bigger night. Got Rua down there at third base, and Bobby, the grand slam home run in the second inning. Ryan Rua, you saw the note on him, his first triple in his major league career. And Wilson ropes one to left field. It's hooking and goes foul. And here's both outfielders on the Rua triple.
But Carrera never called for it. If he ran a little harder, it would have hit him.
Yeah. A ball and a strike. Now 2-1. I'll be watching that pitch all the way in.
He did.
Russell Martin's glove.
Tried to sell him his best changeup there, and Bobby just took it.
Well, he timed that one pretty well. Just fouled it down. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Our AT&T high-speed internet replay for you. Second inning, another 3-2 pitch, an 11-pitch at bat, and number 11 ended up in the Blue Jay bullpen, courtesy of Bobby Wilson. His second grand slam in the last week. Off of Martin's glove, here comes Rua. The throw not in time, he is safe. And the Rangers up their lead to 5-2. Good break by Ryan Rua, no hesitation, and he needed that no hesitation to beat the throw from Martin.
He did a stand-up slide about 1 inch after he tagged the bag. And against this Blue Jay team, the way they can score, boy, every run you get can mean a lot. That's a big run.
Well, a good look at it there, too.
Nice play by Russell Martin.
Sure was. Hard hit ball, but Donaldson pretty good down there at the third base shot. And that'll do it. But the Rangers come up with a big run with 2 outs. Rua triple, scores on the wild pitch. We'll go to the 7th. 5-2 Rangers on Fox Sports Southwest. Tonight's four-game summary, and Colby Lewis has had it under control against the Blue Jays, spotting his fastball and breaking ball. He has really been strong again here tonight. 6 innings of work and very solid. His battery mate, meanwhile, providing a big blast, his second grand slam of the week. And Ryan Goins, the only Blue Jay that's been able to get on top of Colby and drive him out of the ballpark. So 5-2 Rangers, and a huge run added by Ryan Ruiz, 2-out triple and scoring on the wild pitch in the bottom of the 6th. Encarnacion starting off the 7th, fouls it back into the crowd. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Encarnacion tonight has struck out and popped out to second. Colby has limited this Toronto ball club to 2 runs on 4 hits. Got him swinging. Good breaking ball down and away. That is strikeout number 6.
Yeah, worked him over with a breaking ball. Didn't want to give him a fastball.
Tony Barnett, the right-hander. Jake Diekman throwing from the south side.
Colby's pitched at least 6 innings in every one of his starts this year. Coming into the game, he'd thrown 7 innings in his last 3 starts.
And he's working with 6 1/3 under his belt here.
Yep.
Justin Smoak tonight has struck out and line to left. Sharply hit. Mitch, though, a nice convenient hop for him. He'll take it to the bag. That's out number 2.
The shortstop, Troy Tulowitzki.
And with the bases empty now, Troy Tulowitzki will face Colby. Tulowitzki led off the 5th inning. Getting a bullet off of the glove of Adrian Beltre as Adrian went into foul ground, and ball trickling down the left field line for a double. Tulowitzki then came in on a single by Carrera. That was a big inning because the Blue Jays had the tying run at the plate with nobody out. And nice play by Elvis Andrus to get Carrera at the plate as he tried to score on a grounder. And then the double play ball off the bat of Ryan Goins, and all of a sudden the Blue Jays were back out in the field with nothing on the board. Elvis throws out his counterpart, a very tidy 1-2-3 inning. And we'll take the stretch at Globe Life Park in Arlington. Rangers on top 5-2. And let's join Chuck Morgan as he introduces God Bless America.
Here
Tomorrow, enjoy a post-game concert from Toby Mac, presented by Buckner International. The concert will follow a 2:05 game. As the Rangers and Blue Jays wrap up this series, you can get your game tickets and a field pass to watch the concert on the field at texasrangers.com/concerts. And don't forget, wear your red out to the ballpark last day of this red out weekend. Well, we go to the bottom of the 7th, and Rougned Odor trying to butt his way aboard. Brett Cecil, the new Toronto pitcher, bounces off the mound and throws out Rougned. Brett Cecil taking over for Marco Estrada. Cecil battled some shoulder problems this year. He's been in and out of the bullpen. 16th appearance, 0-5 with a 5.59 ERA. League hitting .372 against him.
Figure that out. He lost 5 games in April. No one's ever done that before. He lost 5 games in April. Won't pitch 9 2/3 innings and lost 5 games.
Seemed like every time he turned around, he was giving up a home run or a game-winning hit of some type.
And you know, you look at the way the season ended last year. In his last 39 games, covered 33 2/3 innings. He didn't give up a run. So he went from being untouchable to struggling in the month of April.
Ian Desmond taken outside. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Well, the game will turn on you pretty quick.
Sure does, boy. I can't think of a more dramatic example than this.
No, you're right. Broken bat roller to the right side. Long run for Gomes. He throws it away. It bounces off the screen in front of the Ranger dugout. That was about as wild a throw as you'll see a second baseman make. And Desmond safely aboard on a base hit.
My favorite throw in the history of this stadium was last year when Corey Rasmus charged that ball in left field, got it about 20 feet behind shortstop. The run had basically already scored and launched it over the dugout into the stands.
I remember that.
That was the best. Oh, man. Watch out, Hector.
Pitch down and away to Nomar Mazara. So an infield single has Desmond aboard. Nomar tonight is 2 for 3. Singled his first 2 times up off of Marco Estrada. Estrada, by the way, 6 innings of work, all 5 runs on his ledger. They got Desmond picked off. The throw is high. He's safe at second. And it's going to be a stolen base.
That's just a case of a fast, quick base runner just saying, I don't care if he throws it to first. The second he moves, I'm gone. And, you know, if it's a perfect throw, maybe it works. You see what he's doing?
Yep.
He's running toward the inside of that bag, which takes away the throw from smoke.
That's right. Yeah, even being a left-hander, which is a lot easier throw, it's still, when he cuts down that angle, makes it pretty difficult on him.
Well, they don't have any challenges, right?
No, they don't. They can ask the umpire crew headed by Dale Scott if they will review it in their own volition.
Desmond, when he broke for second, angled in toward the grass so that the left-handed thrower did not have a good shot at the shortstop.
Right.
So he threw it where he had to throw it to keep from hitting the runner. And it allowed Desmond to slide in safely. I guess he's going to get a challenge.
Yeah, if the tag's still on him there, his knee did come off the bag, it looks like. Headsets are going to go on, and Dale Scott complied with the umpire review provision of this replay.
Did you think his back knee touched the base before his foot came off the bag?
I didn't think so.
No.
I couldn't tell, to be quite honest, in that second look.
I thought his front foot dragged over the bag, and as it goes by the bag, oh, there's a little bit of daylight, wasn't there?
Yeah, it looked like it. That's a tough call. Even on replay, it's a tough call. And the umpire review brought to us by Ford tonight. And needs a little action with the headsets this evening for the umpires. touch with the replay command center back there. And again, the umpires rotate through New York, taking turns as part of their rotation around the league to man the replay command center. And they are checking to see whether Ian Desmond will be credited with his 7th stolen base of the year, or whether he will be credited with a caught stealing.
Challenge. I don't get why you only have one challenge if you can come out and ask for a challenge and get it.
It doesn't make much sense, does it?
No. I don't see why it's even, you walk out, say, sorry, you had your challenge. Otherwise, just say you get as many as you want. Because why would one umpiring crew say, okay, we'll look at it, and another one said no?
But,
I mean, you had to have, it's not like that was a blatantly bad call
right
at second base.
Yeah, supposedly from the 7th inning on, the umpires have the discretion on their own to review a play. You know, it's up to the umpires, but we're going to see what the ruling was from replay command center, and safe at second base. So apparently not clear and convincing evidence on the replay that call should be overturned, and credit Ian Desmond with stolen base number 7 this year. I agree with you, Tom. There needs to be some kind of clarification.
Yeah.
Now they clarified the one rule about the slide into second this year already. They clarified that, so there's a little bit less ambiguity about when you apply the automatic double play and not. That goes back. Matter of fact, it goes back to a play that the Blue Jays were involved in early in the season.
To me, if you get another replay call after you've already had one that didn't go your way, it's got to be a blatant call that somehow the umpire missed. That call, you could watch it as many times as you want and have a difficult time seeing anything but the call that was made.
Drive to right field, not carrying extremely well. Desmond will tag at second. Bautista with a strong throw to third, but not nearly in time. And Mazara flies out deeply enough to right field to allow Desmond to advance 90 feet. But there are 2 gone, and it brings up Adrian Beltre. And he is not going to face Brett Cecil, as John Gibbons on his way to the mound. So Cecil brought on to face Odor, Desmond, and Mazara, 2 of the left-handers around Ian Desmond, and that's going to be it. So Biagini is going to be called in, so a pitching change underway here. Rangers batting in the bottom of the 7th inning, trying to add to their lead, which is 5-2. We'll take a timeout. We're back right after this. Bring you something to smile about. There's a lot to smile about out here at the ballpark. Folks and their dogs at Bark in the Park night. Dogs dressed up. Had a parade before the ball game. All the dogs in their finery parading around the ball yard. all shapes and sizes for every kind of dog lover out here. Rangers leading 5-2, and they are trying to add more. They have Ian Desmond at third with 2 outs, Adrian Beltre up, and Joe Biagini, 25-year-old right-hander out of Redwood City, California. And Beltre takes strike 1. Biagini appearing in his 9th ball game of the year. 1-1 ERA, just north of nothing. 0.90. And Beltre pops it up. Smoke the first baseman. And that'll do it. So Biagini gets the foul pop. Rangers are gone in the 7th. No runs, a hit, and they leave one. On to the 8th we go. Rangers leading the Blue Jays 5-2.
Bark, Buzz, and Tom, time for the Progressive fan of the game. Of course, Bark in the park. We got to give it to Beans, our good friend, back for another year. But first, Jeremy, talk about this great shot.
Jim, this is a photo shoot that you and the beautiful Beans did in the offseason to raise awareness, to fight animal abuse, the great people of the soft side, and Beans is here to do her thing.
Well, happy to be part of that, and Beans definitely the good-looking one in that shot right there. Okay, here we go. The hot dog balancing contest with Beans. Let's go, Beans. Steady, steady, girl. Steady. And... oh, way to go, Beans! Progressive fan of the game. Way to go.
You know what this shows, Jim? This shows that Beans is more talented than Jose Bautista.
I like that.
By a lot.
By a lot. Very nice. Way to go, Beansy. That away. Buzz.
Ezekiel Carrera, excuse me, that's Burns pinch hitting. I beg your pardon. I'm watching the dog show.
I was too.
Jake Diekman, the new pitcher on the hill for the Rangers, so he takes over for Colby Lewis in the 8th inning. Diekman appearing in his 18th ball game, a 2.77 ERA. League hitting exactly 184 against him. He is 18 strikeouts, 4 walks is all in his 13 innings of work prior to tonight. So 1 gone, and Russell Martin, the catcher, takes outside. That is 1 ball and no strikes. Martin 0 for 2. Fly ball to right, and he reached on a fielder's choice. 2-0. So Colby, for the 4th consecutive outing, goes 7 innings. Tonight gives up 2 runs on just 4 hits, no walks, 6 strikeouts. Well, he is on some kind of roll right now. Diekman trying to protect that lead. And there's a base hit by Russell Martin. 1 out single has him aboard. And before Ryan Goins, or he's going to pinch hitter now, Darwin Barney's going to pinch hit. Before Barney pitch hits. Now we send it over to Aaron Hardigan for a Chevy game break. All right, Aaron, thank you. Well, here's Darwin Barney hitting a .327. He is pinch hitting for Goins. Goins had the home run, 1 out of 2 tonight. Barney with a home run and 5 driven in. Former Chicago Cub. He's played very well since coming over last September to the Blue Jays. 1 on and 1 out here in the 8th inning. A little tough to tune it up to 96 when you're coming off the bench like that.
Sure is.
Not only does Jake throw hard, he has great movement on his fastball. Comes at kind of an unusual angle. Don't see a lot of left-handers throwing from about 3/4, especially with that kind of heat. 1-2. Diekman has only given up a run in 3 outings this year. Two balls, 2 strikes. Rangers looking for that double play ground ball at somebody. They've turned 1 tonight. And the count now is full. Well, Barney pinch hitting in the number 9 slot. Michael Saunders in the top of the order will be next. Diekman a check of first. Payoff pitch, got him swinging. Nothing fancy about that. A 97-mile-an-hour fastball with some giddy up on it. 2 gone.
Well, you got him to swing 3 times at pitches right on the outside corner. Not much in the way of a good pitch to hit, but all of them strikes.
Well, Michael Saunders up there. 1 out of 3 tonight. Slider just off the outside corner. Sam Dyson loosening in the Ranger bullpen.
If Saunders gets on, then you've got Donaldson coming up next. That's not a good situation, so let's get him right here.
That's a little bit low, 2-0. Jake not missing by much, but by just enough. Saunders eyeballing those 2 close pitches. Saunders 0 for 1 against Jake Diekman in previous matchups. Two and 1. You'd like to have Diekman get Saunders here so you don't have to face Donaldson as the tying run. Little looper. Elvis can't get there. That's going to fall for a base hit. And Donaldson will indeed bat here in the 8th as the tying run. Diekman sawed off Saunders pretty efficiently. Saunders able to loop it out there for the base hit, and Jeff Bannister taking the slow walk out to the mound. Now Russell Martin with a 1-out single. Then the strikeout of Barney. And then Diekman got the pitch in on Saunders, but Saunders just shoveled it out into left field. And there are 2 on with 2 outs. Sam Dyson will be called upon here to face Josh Donaldson, representing the tying run in this 5-2 Ranger lead. Pitching change underway. We'll take a timeout. We're back right after this on Fox Sports Southwest. Dyson. Let's take a look at tonight's Coors Timeless Moment. And we'll take you back in time. This date, 1998. Rusty Greer hits the first pitch he sees in the top of the 13th inning for a 2-run home run. Rangers 7-5 win over the Yankees. And that ball game took a snappy 4 hours and 53 minutes in the Bronx. Well, 13 innings, that's okay. As long as you win, you can stay out there all night. Sam Dyson, 19th appearance, worked here in 2/3 of an inning last night. And Donaldson gets sawed off completely. Elvis not across the diamond. Dyson makes one pitch, ruins the bat from Josh Donaldson, and gets out of the inning. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left, 7.5 gone by. Rangers by 3.
Over the Blue Jays as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning here at Globe Life Park in Arlington. They play 3, these two teams. Game number 3 will take place tomorrow here at Globe Life. 2 o'clock first pitch here on Fox Sports Southwest. Justin Smoke and Adrian Beltre look to continue their hot hitting ways. We thank the fine folks at AT&T High-Speed Internet for getting us ready for the finale of this 3-game series between Toronto and Texas, guys.
All right, and thank you. Now, Prince Fielder leading off here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Rangers maintaining that 5-2 advantage. And Fielder starting things off. Prince 0 for 3 tonight. He has popped out, grounded out, and struck out. Joe Biagini, who came on to get the last out of the 7th inning. Now starting the 8th. Prince had a pretty good hack at that, fouls it back, gets 1-1. Defensive changes for you. Darwin Barney stays in the ball game, takes over at second base for Ryan Goins, and Andy Burns, who pinch hit, will move to left field with Michael Saunders moving from left into center. Ezekiel Carrera and Ryan Goins out of the ball game. Big breaking ball, and it's 2-1. Rangers tonight 5 runs on 6 hits. Blue Jays 2 runs on 6 hits. Rangers have committed the only error of the ball game. Smoke underhand to Biagini, and Prince is retired. 1 gone for Mitch Moreland. Well, folks, you know them and you love them. The red, the green, and the blue dots from the Texas Rangers dot race. This season, you can collect all 3 dots in a limited edition bobblehead series. That's presented by Nitto Tire. The blue dot is the first in the series and will be given away to the first 15,000 fans on Sunday, May 29th. That's when the Rangers take on the Pittsburgh Pirates in interleague play. Log on to TexasRangers.com and get your tickets for that May 29th ball game. Mitch Moreland takes strike one. Mitch 0 for 2 officially. He walked and scored back in the second. Sean Tollison getting something to drink out there. He is ready. We're going to have tally time unless the Rangers add on a few. Mitch now down on the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Joe Biagini, big right-hander at 6'5", listed at 238 pounds.
Biagini's a pretty good pick for a Rule 5 draft choice. He's got a good arm, boy. He's throwing 95 miles an hour. He's off to a great start. Sometimes you have to hide your Rule 5 draft choices. This guy looks like a guy you might want to showcase the way he's throwing.
The Blue Jays got him from the San Francisco Giants, that Rule 5 pick this past December.
Well, that's a pick that costs $50,000 is it. And if you send him back, you get $25,000 of that back. That was the amount of money that was paid, I don't know, 25 years ago as far as I know. I don't think that's changed since. Might have gone up a little bit. I'm not sure. I haven't kept track of that. But whatever it is, if you get a big league player or pitcher out of that, you've had a bargain.
Yeah, Biagini, a guy who came up through the Giants organization and didn't. Mitch is going to test that shift, and he beats it. Cost him a bat, but he has a base hit. Right off the end of the bat, and nobody home over there on the third base side. Well, Mitch gets his first hit of the night. 1 on and 1 out. Obviously, Biagini, though, had been a 10-game winner in the minor leagues the last 2 years for the Giants. And they must have felt that he's really not in our immediate plans. He may develop, but just hasn't developed as quickly as they thought he would. They'll try and sneak him through.
Yeah, he might be one of those guys. I'm not sure how hard he threw. He was a starting pitcher. He only had a handful of relief appearances. He might be one of those guys throwing a little bit harder now that he's a reliever. You never know.
Yep. Pitch runner now for the Rangers. Drew Stubbs has come on to pinch run for Mitch Moreland. Jeff Bannister feels that in Stubbs he has a real weapon for late in the ball game and you need an extra run or need a run. Drew Stubbs has done very well in that department. Elvis takes ball 1. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the ball game. How about Elvis coming home to nail Ezekiel Carrera? A big play in the ball game. The Blue Jays threatening to get back into the game, and that play at home plate confirmed on the appeal. Big delivery by Elvis and by Jimmy John. We appreciate it. Elvis tonight 1 out of 2, a single and a walk. Average at 289. Stubbs at first, a very definite threat to try and swipe second. And Elvis pops it up. Tulowitzki backpedaling, calls off Saunders. That is out number 2. Next will be Ryan Rua. Ryan Rua in this next half inning will no doubt come in and play first base, and Drew Stubbs will play in the ball, stay in the ball game and play in the outfield. I imagine Desmond, the normal rotation would be Desmond going back to left and Stubbs playing in center. We'll have to see if that's what's going to happen now when Jeff Bannister makes these moves late in the ball game. Rua tonight, a triple, a walk, a strikeout, 2 runs scored. He's been a big part of this ball game for the Rangers. Oh, and 1 the count, Biagini. There goes Stubbs. The pitch is low. The throw is low also. Stubbs in there with a stolen base.
Nice play by Barney at second base. Catch that hop and make a quick tag. Martin didn't have the time he would have liked. Had to throw it almost like a shortstop. Get rid of it as quickly as he can.
Stubbs with his second stolen base as a Ranger. He had 4. He was with the Braves earlier this year before they released him. Well, he is in scoring position with 2 outs. Count of 1 ball and 1 strike to Rua. Going back to Stubbs for a second, and Tom, it reminds me of what you have always said about the real test of a good base stealer is when he's in the game and everybody knows he's going to run, and he still steals it.
You can't stop him, yeah. Rangers have had some good ones over the years.
Yep.
Craig Gentry is probably the best one that comes to mind for me.
Stubbs is getting in that category also.
Yeah, he is. He is.
2-2 now to Rua. Kind of an overlooked weapon, I think, to have a guy like that on your bench. That, you know, people don't pay much attention to it until you look up and the guy's got 3 or 4 stolen bases in critical situations and beat you.
Yeah, or he scores on a short sacrifice fly like he did in Toronto that day.
That's right. Fouled away in, and Rua having a pretty good battle with Biagini. It's something that relievers are probably not as accustomed to as starting pitchers. That dealing with speed, the speed factor. Starting pitchers get used to, you know, the leadoff man, second man, or number 9 hitter being fast, being on base, and you get used to, you know, working on your pickoff moves. Relievers don't have that many opportunities where they have to work with speed on the base pass. Not many clubs anymore are based solely on speed, so that they run anytime during a ball game, and particularly late in ball games. Most clubs, I think, rely on their offense to produce runs by swinging the bats late in games.
It almost seems like overall in baseball there's less of an emphasis on stealing bases because you don't want to give outs on the bases.
Right. Another 2-2 pitch from Biagini, and that runs the count full. Well, Rua pretty much in a hitter's count now. He's hitting 8th. Bobby Wilson, the Ranger catcher, hoping for a chance at Biagini here in the 8th inning. Softly hit into right field. Bautista coming on, and that'll do it. Biagini gives up a base hit, but strands the pinch runner, Drew Stubbs. It's tally time as the Rangers head to the 9th inning with a 5-2 lead.
Night here at Globe Life Park, where the Rangers sit just half an inning away from evening this series with the Jays. 5-2 the lead here in the ninth, thanks to Bobby Wilson, who apparently only likes to hit him out with bases loaded and in the same week. Also thanks to Colby Lewis, who threw his 4th straight game with at least 7 innings. We're going to relive all of this coming your way after the game on Rangers Live with Pudge, Mac, Knox. We'll have all the reaction headed your way as we get it back to the fellas across the way for the finish, guys.
All right, Aaron, thank you. Now, John Tolleson in for the Rangers now. Tolly in his 17th appearance. He's 11 for 13 in save opportunities this year. 10 strikeouts, 3 walks last time we saw John Tolleson was 4 days ago against the White Sox. Got his 11th save in that ball game. On here to face Jose Bautista, Edwin Encarnacion, and Justin Smoak. Bautista 0 for 3. And ball 1 is low and inside. Drew Stubbs staying in the ball game, taking over in left field. And Ryan Rua moving from left into first base. That pitch just outside a bit. 2 balls, no strikes. Bautista 0 for 3 with a walk against Sean Tolleson in previous matchups in the regular season. Way inside, 3-0. Seen Sean have trouble with the first hitter in a few outings. And he just has gotten behind 3-0 and he's come back to get him.
There you go.
He's going to have to do that here. Getting used to the mound, getting the adrenaline pumping, who knows what it is. If Sean knew, he would have fixed it. Rather not go 2-0 or 3-0. To center field. Desmond, who is playing deep, retreats. At the track, he's up against the wall and can't get it. Backed up by Mazara, and Bautista will stop at second with a double. Jose Bautista gave that thing a ride, and it was a great effort out there by Ian Desmond.
That ball shot out there to right center field. Off the bat, wasn't sure it was going to carry like that. Well, 2/3 of the way up the wall, it looked like. Couldn't quite make that play, smashing into the wall. Great try.
So, leadoff double. Here's Encarnacion. He takes strike 1.
A lot of breaking balls to Encarnacion tonight. Kobe gave him a full dose of it. Struck him out a couple of times, popped him up the other time. First pitch was a breaking ball there. And there's another one. Same exact spot.
Same exact reaction by Encarnacion, too. You got to be kidding me. 0-2. Got a third one and got a piece of that one. Encarnacion tonight, a couple of strikeouts and a pop out. 0 for 2 in previous regular season matchups against Sean Tolleson. 1 ball and 2 strikes. This is the 3rd outing for Sean Tolleson this year against the Blue Jays. Had 2 in Toronto against them. Had both a save and a blown save up there. Elvis straightens up after checking Bautista back. That is out number 1. Justin Smoak will be next.
Well hit ball by Encarnacion. Fortunately, he pulled it on the ground right to Elvis. Want to keep a runner off base so the tying run can't come to the plate.
Smoak tonight, go for 3. He is 3 out of 4, as you can see, against Sean Tolleson with a home run. That home run caused a blown save for Tolleson in Toronto. It was a game-tying 9th inning home run with 2 outs. Solo blast, and then 2 innings later, Smoke came up with a runner on and won the ball game for the Blue Jays with his first career walk-off home run. 2 balls, no strikes. Rangers, you can pretty well tell the way Tollison's going after him that Rangers feel like you really got to crowd Smoke when he's batting left-handed. Get the ball up. That one right down the middle. Looked like he was taking most of the way. They'll try to work him off the plate inside, up above the belt. Problem is Smoke is disciplined enough that when he's swinging the bat well, he doesn't swing at a lot of those pitches.
No, especially left-handed.
Good breaking ball there.
Coming into the game, he had 60 plate appearances against right-handed pitching. Walked 14 times. That's a lot of walks in a certain amount of plate appearances. Dropped it right in the bottom of the strike zone. Pretty much right where he wanted it.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Driven to right and deep. Ballpark will not hold that one. It is gone. And it is a 1-run Ranger lead, 5-4. As Smoke has hit his 3rd home run of the season, his 3rd home run against the Rangers this year.
I don't know if it's just a coincidence or if he still thinks back to the original trade, but he tends to play well against the Rangers.
That fastball right down in his wheelhouse. And now a drive off the bat of Tulowitzki, deep left field. That ball is gone, and we've got a tie ball game. Back-to-back home runs by Smoke and Tulowitzki, and the Blue Jays have tied things up at 5.
Well, that's what they do. They haven't really done it like they did last year yet, but before the season's over, they will. They hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Well, this huge crowd just had the air let out of the stadium with those 2 blasts. Like a breaking ball that stayed up pretty much in the middle of the plate, and Tulowitzki made Tollison pay for that. Tulowitzki, his 2nd home run in as many nights, his 8th of the year. Ed Brocail out to see if he can breathe some life back into his battery. So a 5-5 ball game. Andy Burns, who came on as a pinch hitter, stayed in the ball game to take over in left field. Strike 1. And strike 2, pumped in by Tollison. Tony Barnett, who had been up earlier, up and loosening again. Andy Burns, just his 3rd game with the Blue Jays since being called up. Still a ball and 2 strikes. If you're looking forward now to the bottom of the 9th inning, you got Osuna and Floyd, both right-handers. Rangers have Wilson, Odor, and Desmond. First 3 due up. And Sean Tollison trying to get the final 2 outs here in the top of the 9th to make sure that Rangers will be batting in a tie ball game. Nothing worse. The 2-2 is coming. Call strike 3. Well, Burns frozen on that fastball. 2 gone. Russell Martin will be next.
I made a perfect pitch right at the bottom of the strike zone, close to being a ball as you can go. Still the ball touching the strike zone.
Russell Martin a single in 3 trips tonight. And even though Martin does not have a home run this year, a guy that has power, you got to be aware of what he can do with a mistake. Russell Martin now with 97 at bats without a home run. This is his second longest homerless streak to start a game or start a season. When he was with the Dodgers, he had a 216 game homerless streak. Ahead of the count here, 2-1. Now 3-1. Now Martin hitting 8th in the order. He's able to prolong this 9th inning. Darwin Barney getting loose in that on-deck circle. Popped high in the air, but well back and out of play down the right side. Count now is full. The Blue Jays with 3 in the 9th, courtesy of home runs by Justin Smoak and Troy Tulowitzki. They went back to back. They have tied this game at 5. And Russell Martin takes the 2-out walk.
A long inning for Sean, 28 pitches.
And that looks like it's going to be it as Jeff Bannister conferred with Doug Brocail just momentarily before making his way out to the mound. And Tony Barnett will be summoned from the Ranger bullpen. So that's it for Sean Tolleson as he suffers his 3rd blown save of the season. And Tony Barnett trying to keep this a tie ball game as he comes in. We'll take a timeout. We're back right after this on Fox Sports Southwest. Tony Barnett has come into the ball game now. He inherits a runner on first with 2 outs in a 5-5 ball game. Barnett, his 17th appearance of the year. We last saw Tony on Wednesday night against the White Sox. Picked up the win, working a 1/3 of an inning. Rangers came back to salt that ball game away with him as the pitcher of record. Tony with an ERA of an even 3 this year. 5 earned runs and 15 innings of work. Saw the league hitting .328 against the right-hander. He will face the right-handed hitting Darwin Barney now. Barney came on as a pinch hitter in the 8th inning. He ended up striking out. full roller, and Elvis takes that to second. So Barnett goes one pitch, the inning is over, but the Blue Jays come back to tie the ball game. Back-to-back home runs by Smoke and Tulowitzki. Rangers coming up in the bottom of the ninth, a 5-5 game. Even the Dogs a little disgusted with the Blue Jays coming back to tie this ball game up.
Big baby.
Yeah. Gavin Floyd, the veteran right-hander, a 33-year-old on now to take over for the Blue Jays. Floyd appearing in his 14th game this year. Very fine 165 ERA and opponent's batting average 145. So he has been very effective. The Blue Jays have gotten him into a ball game. 18 strikeouts, just 4 walks. He will begin things by facing Bobby Wilson. Start off this 9th inning. Kevin Pillar has entered the ball game to take over in center. And moving from center back to left field is Michael Saunders. Swinging strike from Wilson. Bobby, that second grand slam of the week for him back in the second inning. 1 out of 3 tonight. We'll take you back to that second inning. Bases full of Ranger teammates, and he went into the bullpen of the Blue Jays. He's gone on 3 pitches here as Floyd really worked him over with some breaking balls.
Second baseman, Rougned Odor.
Floyd had some good years for the White Sox as a starting pitcher. Usually a double-digit winning kind of guy. And the curveball was a big part of it.
Here's Odor on the outside corner for strike 1. Rougned 0 for 4 tonight. He's grounded out a couple of times, struck out, fouled out. Floyd still with the better than adequate fastball at 94 or so. One and 2. Floyd with the White Sox from 2007 to 2013. Smoke wins that race to the bag. There are 2 away.
Center fielder, Ian
Floyd in 2008 won 17 games for the White Sox. 33 starts that year, worked 206 innings. That was the most innings and starts and wins of his career. Started through 2012 and then moved to the bullpen. Also had some significant arm problems that cropped up. Ian Desmond, 1 out of 4. He is 4 for 8 in his career against Floyd. Trying to go the other way and moves it foul back into the seats. 0-1. Desmond back in the box. Floyd to the wind. 0-2.
9 pitches, 8 strikes. Curveballs and fastballs. Cutter, slider.
And Desmond reaching into that data bank that he has on every pitcher that he's faced. See if he can pull something up to give him the right equation. And he does, right back up the middle. Off-speed pitch that Ian waited on very nicely. He has his second hit in the last 2 at-bats.
I can't remember Gavin Floyd's move to first base, but if it's not a fairly quick one, got a good base stealer at first base.
So the winning run at first with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th. Nomar Mazara, 2 for 4 this evening. One ball and no strikes. Ian Desmond may not have remembered exactly what kind of a move.
Well,
he's got a pretty good read on it now.
He hasn't pitched a whole lot over the last few years.
Ian inching off. Pretty good lead at first base. 1 ball and 1 strike. Nomar's 2 hits, both singles in the first inning and the second inning. Since then, he has struck out, flying to right field. Desmond bluffed a move or tried to get a jump and put the brakes on.
I don't think he had the jump he wanted. Well, there's a couple of pitches that are. You see those 3 pitches and you find out it's 1 ball and 2 strikes, and you got to bear down now.
One and 2 to Mazara. Floyd a long hold. Slowly tapped out to second. And Barney will throw out Mazara. We are going to overtime baseball. Extra innings coming up. The Rangers and the Blue Jays tied at 5 on Fox Sports Southwest. Extra innings are presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky all season long. Jack Link's Beef Jerky, feed your wild side. The Rangers, now for the 5th time this year, are going to extra innings. So far, the Rangers winless in the first 4 games, 0-1 here at home. Toronto, meanwhile, this is their 4th extra inning affair. They have gone 1-2 overall. They are 0-2 away from Toronto. And the first pitch by Tony Barnett to Michael Saunders is in for strike 1. Saunders 2 for 4 tonight. Pair of singles, 1 in the 3rd, 1 in the 8th inning. Nothing and 2. Well, Tony Barnett, we've talked about it, really getting himself together, feeling much more comfortable here in the big leagues. This is his first foray into the big leagues after 6 years in Japan honing his craft. And he gets the strikeout of Saunders, 1 away. Tony, one of those guys that brings a 4-pitch repertoire in as a closer mentality. Something that guys are not really used to facing late in ball games. Normally it's a guy with 1 or 2 outstanding pitches, and they pretty much say, here it is, let's see what you can do with it. Josh Donaldson got the curveball from Tony Barnett. Nothing in 1. Donaldson 0 for 4 tonight.
Taking advantage of the aggressiveness of Donaldson in this at bat.
Sure is.
Donaldson looking to drive one out of the ballpark, and he crossed him up with a couple of pretty good breaking balls.
Oh, and 2. Tried a 3rd one. Couldn't get Donaldson to offer at it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Tony Barnett, the Anchorage, Alaska native. Grew up in the Seattle area, played his college ball down in Arizona State. The right field, Mazara gliding to his right. 2 gone. Jose Bautista greeted with a chorus of boos. Bautista got the 9th inning started with a double high off the wall in right center field against Sean Tollison. Hits this one well to left. Backpedaling, jumping up, can't come up with it as Stubbs. It's at the base of the wall, and Bautista into second with a 2-out double. Well, there's that ball, Tom, that is the hardest for an outfielder. That ball hit right at you.
It definitely is. That was a line shot, kind of hooking and sinking over his head. Got turned around a little bit, and Drew's an excellent outfielder, and if that ball does that to him, you know it's a tough play. A couple of hard hit balls. Bautista just barely getting them by the outfielders. That one went to the side of Drew's glove. He had the double last inning, leading off the inning, that just went by the glove of Ian Desmond in center field. Both very hard hit balls. Bautista had been very quiet until the 9th and 10th innings when he's got back-to-back doubles.
Doug Brocail out there talking to Tony Barnett and Bobby Wilson. Got first base open, even though you have a left-handed hitting Justin Smoke in the on-deck circle. Pretty good time to be a little bit careful with Encarnacion, at least in pitch selection-wise. You don't want to give Encarnacion anything he can drive in a run-producing situation. Not that you would necessarily pitch around him, but that would be a consideration if you fell behind in the count. Going with the breaking ball right off the get-go, and it's ball one. Bautista, I should say, Encarnacion has seen a lot of those tonight. Pretty much a steady diet of breaking balls from the starter, Colby Lewis. Lindor have to come off the ground to make sure that ball didn't get into center field. Fourth most RBI in the month of May for Encarnacion, 13 of them. 1-0 pitch. Looked like that cut fastball from Tony Barnett that might have had a little bit too much of the strike zone.
And Encarnacion had a good swing at it.
Yeah.
Fortunately, fouled it off.
Another pick off at second. A little bit easier with Rougned Odor shading Encarnacion around to the left. Rougned not too far off of a straight line from the mound back to second. He can just cut straight in. And Bautista trying to expand that lead just a little bit. In the dirt. Lee Wilson able to block that. It's 2-1. And whatever the idea, however you felt was the best way to pitch him, now you want to stay with that. Even if you do walk him, if you lose him on balls, that you don't want to go away from trying to be very aggressive just out of the strike zone. 3-1. Encarnacion batting fourth. Justin Smoak waiting in the on-deck circle. Jose Bautista getting the lead from second. 2 outs here in the top of the 10th inning. Beltre across the diamond, and that will do it. And Tony Barnett not giving in to Encarnacion, got him on the weak ground ball. A runner stranded on a base hit, bottom of the 10th coming up. Beltre will lead it off in a 5-5 game. Rangers come to bat here in the bottom of the 10th inning. Big crowd on hand tonight, and they are making some noise. They just got over being stunned about the Blue Jay comeback in the 9th to tie it. And now they're getting behind the Rangers. Adrian Beltre to start things off. Chris Fielder and Drew Stubbs to follow. Beltre 0 for 3 with a walk. He hits one to deep right field. Going back, Bautista. He stops and makes the catch on the warning track. Now, Beltre had a good idea going up there what he wanted to see from Floyd. He got it and hit it hard, but the ball just not carrying the other way.
Well, he got a fastball up out over the plate. And who knows, maybe in the Chicago series it would have carried better. Kind of unpredictable in that series, but occasionally hitting the right direction with the right trajectory. The ball was jumping in that series. Not so much in this series so far.
Prince Fielder trying to make sure that if he'd made contact, that nothing was going to stop that one. He took a healthy cut at it and came up empty. Prince 0 for 4 tonight. Did he go around? No. Bob Davidson down there enthusiastically saying I didn't swing.
Prince hasn't gone deep in a while. Be a great spot for one right here.
He's trying.
Yep.
1-2. 19th of April was last home run for Prince. Gavin Floyd in his 2nd inning of work. Got him swinging. Pretty good breaking balls from Floyd. He gets his 2nd strikeout. They're 2 away now, and Drew Stubbs coming up.
Drew Stubbs.
Well, he got ahead with 2 strikes, and then he has the ability to throw that curveball where he wants to, and he made sure he kept it out of the strike zone. Get a strike, get a swing, great. If not, it's a ball and no one can hit it.
Stubbs, who came on as a pinch runner for Mitch Moreland back in the 8th inning. Getting his first at bat, drew a .250 average. Gets that ball out of play. His numbers overall for the year, .250 mark. Stubbs with the Rangers 2 for 6, .333 Ranger average. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ex-Texas Longhorn All-American Drew Stubbs. Still 1-2. Floyd back to the plate. Hit well to left field. Going is Saunders back at the wall. Goodbye! Drew Stubbs walks it off with his first Ranger home run. The Rangers win it 6-5. Drew Stubbs. Oh, can you believe that? Drew Stubbs went all Toronto Blue Jays on Toronto.